Hey everybody, this is Spades from TurboKingsPoker.com. Hold'em Manager comes with a lot of statistics and a lot of reports, which are very useful for all kinds of formats and games. But to those of us who specialize in maybe just a certain format of a game, like sit and goes or single table sit and goes, or cash games, others might play MTTs. Those of us will be happy to know that HM3 also offers us the ability to customize any report that we need and fill it with any statistics that we need specifically for our game. So today in this video I want to give you an overview about the stats I use when I analyze my game or when I analyze my students' games, and maybe you'll find this helpful and implement it in your database as well. So let's open here my custom report and jump into the statistics so I can show you what's in there. First column, positional full ring, basically the position. I don't think we need to spend time on that. Second, total hands dealt to player is in there from the start as well, but it's significant or important to keep it in there because you always want to see the number of hands you have on a specific situation to compare how really significant something is. Third column is the all-in adjusted big blinds per 100. The main, if we want to determine someone's win rate, it's basically this is what we look at. We look at the EV and not at the actual win rate that is affected by variance. We want to see how good your decision was and not what the outcome of the decision was, which this column would show. Next column is the raise first in. Super simple. Basically, how often are you raising when it is folded to you? VPIP in PFR, I'm pretty sure everybody knows. No need to spend time on that. 3-bet as well. Someone else raises. How often do we 3-bet? A statistic I add is fold to 3-bet. I want to see when you do raise and get 3-bet, how often do you continue? Plenty of leaks to be found here in people's games, so it's definitely an important stat to have in your report. Also, the next column, cold calling. Someone raises, how often are we calling the raise? Again, people often don't play enough hands, people play too tight, so we do want to see what these frequencies are. As far as analyzing all these frequencies for each of these stats, telling you what the optimum is, I will do that in separate videos. Today, this video is just to show you what stats should be included in the report for MTTs to check on your MTT game. Squeeze statistic is basically someone raised, someone else called. How often are we raising? So there's at least 2 people in the pot already. The next one is folds to steal. Pretty much applies only to the big blinds, right? The big blind facing a steal, meaning facing a raise from the cutoff button or small blind, and folds to steal in a small blind means facing a raise from the cutoff a button. How often do we fold the small blind? Re-steal, same spot. It's just not folding, but 3-betting. And this concludes basically all my pre-flop stats. And then we see the next one, everything that follows is post-flop statistics. I start looking at your flop c-bet percentage, then your turn c-bet percentage, the flop fold versus c-bet. How often are you folding versus a c-bet? Super important stat to have in your report. How often are we raising a c-bet? This is the flop raise percentage when facing a c-bet. Next stat is the check fold out of position when we had the opportunity to c-bet. So we raised pre-flop, got called, flop comes out, we don't c-bet, then our opponent puts in a bet. How often are we folding in that spot? Lots of leaks in these spots. So, and then again, a super important statistic to have in the report. And then I have the bet flop versus missed continuation bet. So basically now it's reversed. You called pre-flop, someone doesn't put in a c-bet on the flop, just checks to you, how often are you betting? And then the same for the turn, right? Someone doesn't c-bet, how often are we betting the turn? And this is what I use for 90% of my reviews. And the reason I'm not looking past the turn to the river It's because most often the sample size is not significant, plus whatever mistakes we discovered by now need to be fixed or addressed first. Otherwise, whatever we do on the river is compounded by stuff we did wrong prior to that. So I do want to focus on fixing my pre-flop stuff first, then taking a look at the flop and turn before moving on to the river.